I need your help.
Illustrations by me.
So I know this is going to be the video where I announce the winner of the giveaway for the colored pencils. You're going to have to wait for that a little bit because this is the same week that I made that video, which is still like 2 weeks before you saw this. So you haven't seen 2 weeks. You're going to tell me who wants to win the colored pencils, and I'm going to pick the hat, and then you're going to see it today. I don't have the names yet. It hasn't happened yet. This is the past for you, the future for me, or the present for me. You know what this is, but this is way too complicated. I have so many more things to do. I think I have 2 more giveaways just to go through, and then I'm waiting for another company to send me more stuff for giveaways. I have several more products to review. This is getting out of hand here, but I want to do the giveaways part definitely. So, they sent me the guitar. Do you remember I was telling you that someone said they wanted to send me a guitar, and I said, "Oh no, this is not a music channel. This is an art channel." And they were like, "Oh great!" And they sent me the. I'm gonna destroy their guitar. I'm going to sand the crap out of it and put gesso on it, and then paint a little thing on it. Whatever. I said I would do it if they sent it, and they sent it. So here we are. So that'll be a different video. All of that stuff is more important than the thing I actually want to talk to you about. What I'm about to get into is not even important at all, except to me it is, but to you it probably isn't. But I need your advice. I would like to hear from you and get some advice. And I'm going to do a little drawing here. I'm going to use the color pencils to go in. I think I'm going to try and use the what are the Sumukundo paints, the graphite paints, and see if the colored pencil hides in the graphite paint a little bit better than it would in the watercolor. Not that it needs to hide. I think it'll work pretty well either way, but I just wanted to try it. So that's what I'm going to do in the video. I'm going to do a little drawing. I don't know how it's going to come out. Don't worry about that. And we will get into the real point of this video. And then at the end of the video, I will go ahead and I will announce the winner of the colored pencils. But before I do that, I just want to say I've been looking at some smaller channels, and I found Amanda Fraser's Art Studio. And she does this great, there was like a spooky one. Let's do something spooky. I looked at that. I looked at a colored pencil one she did. You gotta go check her out. We're all gonna go over to Amanda's and have a party on her channel. So the link is down below. I'm gonna put that down right below in the description here. You're gonna see it. Go there and check her out. Very polished videos. Nothing like the nonsense that I post here. They're nice. They're actually good content. This is not good content. So let's all go to Amanda's, and hopefully she'll let us in. Now to the other important, but I have so many videos. I was talking about that. I have so many videos I want to actually create. I have a list of so many that have nothing to do with products necessarily. They're just other videos I want to do, and I haven't been able to get to them yet. But I have some coming. There's some. I think next week you'll see one, and then you'll see more soon. I'm gonna sprinkle them in as best as I can. I have some different ideas. I have a skit. I have 2 skits that I've been wanting to record forever, and I just haven't had the time to record them because they take a lot more time. There's a lot more effort involved in them, but I have 2 of them. I'm going to do them soon, and one of them is about a product, but that's a different story. It's going to be funny. Don't worry about it. It'll be fine. So let me get into the story of my actual dilemma. We'll get into some painting and drawing and things, and I will get into this dilemma. You can tell me what you think. And please, don't hold back. If you tell me why you worried about this, you idiot, that's fine with me too. You can say that too. All right, let's get into it. So first thing I want to say is everybody joined in on Actually, and I'm very happy that everyone did that in that video. That was wonderful. We had a lot of fun with it. So thank you to everyone who participated with that. That was a whole lot of fun. Now, this video, before I get into this whole thing, the colors were not the best choice for what I chose to do here. So some of the color that I put in there it probably shouldn't have put in. I should have done something a little different. It wasn't terrible. But the other thing is that I've never seen washi tape tear up paper ever in my life. And I know people were saying, yeah, you got to warm it up a little bit to get it off of there or whatever. But never washi tape. That's maybe for masking tape or the painter's tape or something. The washi tape just comes off naturally. It comes off very clean. It's a very low tack. But this is the Fluid 100 hot press watercolor paper. And it just destroyed itself. It was terrible. It just ripped like so. I ended up leaving the spaces in there because I didn't want to put any color there or put anything in there, because it would have looked terrible. So I just left the empty space there. That's fine. It would have looked much better, by the way, if I would have added some more contrast. I did not add as much contrast as I wanted to here. I should have definitely added more. I think the lines were a little bit on the thin side. I should have picked a thicker marker. That's okay. It's all fine. It's all wonderful. It's just that I made some decisions that I think were a little bad here, and I would have done them differently if I had to do it again. That's okay. Sometimes that's what happens. You do something, you try something, and you say, oh wait, that's not exactly how I want it to come out. Next time I'll do it differently. That's a part of art. That's the biggest thing about art, is that you take your work, even if you don't like it, you take it, you examine it, and you say, oh, okay, I got to do this different next time. And that's just what you do. Overall, I liked it. I thought it was fine. But I just think I could have done some different things to make it much better, at least for me. Okay, so now we're going to get into something that no one cares about. I know that's a terrible thing. I'm a terrible host for doing that to you. But here's the thing. This is what I really need your advice on. So I'm going to tell you, when I started the channel, I started with a Nikon D5600 camera. Nobody cares. I know. I get it. Just hear me out here. But, well, when I first actually had this little handy cam thing, this little camcorder thing, it did like 720. It said, oh, it's HD. But then they came out after HD, they came out with full HD. So the HD thing was a lie. If it wasn't full HD, then why'd you call it HD to begin with? Anyway, it doesn't matter. So that was terrible. I never even started the channel with that thing. When I actually started the channel, it was with the D5600. And so I love the look of that Nikon. That Nikon camera, some of the top-down, I go back to some of my old videos and I look at it, and some of that top-down stuff, I say, wow, that looks amazing. What was that? Oh, right, that was the Nikon camera. The top-down view had some great color to it, some nice contrast in it. It was wonderful. I hated that there was no real autofocus. The autofocus sucked, and it really did. It was just terrible. So I used to take this long bar and like reach to the camera because I didn't have a focal length that I could just sit there close to me. It was further away, and I had to take this bar and like reach over and hit the focus button one time so it would focus on me, and then I'd start doing the video. A lot of times I was out of focus. It was not very good. It wasn't the best thing in the world. Then I moved over. I said, okay, I'm tired of this. I want something that autofocuses a little bit. I should have read my notes because I picked up the Panasonic or the Lumix G9, which is a great camera for all the little things that it does. But the one thing that it doesn't do is autofocus well. It was losing me constantly. Terrible. I sold it as quick as I could. I actually held on to it for a little while, but then I sold it. I sold a bunch of other things, and then I bought the OM1, which is an Olympus camera. That camera was supposed to be quad pixel autofocus, better than Canon, better than everyone. It sucked. It kept losing me. It's not a good, for autofocus, it's not good. Everything else that you do, it looks good on paper. And both that one and the Panasonic, they look amazing on paper. It's like, oh yeah, you can do this. You can get these high megapixels for camera, for picture taking if you want to. It does all these different modes and all this stuff wonderful. The thing is, I couldn't afford what they call the fast lenses, which is the widest aperture lenses on those systems. They were too much money. It just wasn't going to happen. And so I said, I can't do this anymore. I'm not getting, everything looks grainy. Everything has noise in the background because it's not getting enough light to the sensor. And even now that was when I was doing a lot of, vlogging stuff, and I would also take it for wildlife, and I need a camera that does all of it. So I have to do the talking head, the top down, the vlog, the wildlife, all of it at the same time, and so it's very difficult to find a camera to do that. Now here's what I knew from the beginning: Sony is always the best tool for the job. I don't care what you're doing. I don't care what you have a feeling or emotion about. Sony is the best tool for the job. Autofocus is perfect. You can get very affordable lenses for I mean, we're talking other systems. You might have to spend $800 to $1,000. You can get a good Sony lens for like $200-300. Used, you can get them less. Some of them are like under $200 used, and it's decent. It collects a lot of light. It's a bigger sensor. It's nice. Just to clarify, I mean third-party lenses, not actual Sony lenses. But the third-party lenses now, like I have what is this one here? Hold on here, let me grab this one here. So this is a Yongnuo. It is a 16 millimeter 1.8 aperture. That is amazing. It works wonderfully. I have to like clamp down on that aperture just so I can do the video, the talking head, because you can't see anything behind me. It just blurs it all out. We did that little test a while ago, and I asked everyone. They said, yeah, we'd like to see a little bit behind you. So I have to actually stop it down quite a bit to actually get the look I want. So that's what I'm talking about, just third party. And I do shoot on APS-C because I like the extra reach that you get with the lenses. So it's a little bit less than full frame. I will never get full frame, I don't think, as far as I know. I will probably not get full frame because although it has a nice look for like a talking head, most people don't even notice, and the people that do notice hardly matter. So those are the people that are not watching your content. They're just someone who's judging it based on, oh, how's the image quality? And they even can't tell sometimes. I know they can't. They just make it up like they can, but they can't. It doesn't matter. Not that like I said, nobody cares about this. But here's the thing. I had to, every time I would switch cameras, I would have to sell it and sell a bunch of other things to afford the camera. And I just kept doing that. And I've reached the point now where I have a Sony a6700. I absolutely love it. It does everything I want it to do. It does the talking head thing great. It collects enough light. I can go outside. I can do vlogging. I can do wildlife with it. I can do everything with it. It does all of it very well. Autofocus is perfect. Absolutely perfect. I've never been lost on this camera. Here's the thing though. I would like to do like up my game a little bit. Not a whole lot. I'm not trying to get like the most, and believe me, that a6700 is not the most expensive camera in Sony line. It's not, it's pretty affordable actually. Compared to all the other cameras that they sell, it's very affordable. Most cameras now are going for like 18, 2,000, it's a lot of money now. It's over $2,000, $2,500. It's a lot of money for stuff. The what I have now, this was like $1,400 new. And now you could pick one up for like $1,200, $1,250 maybe. So that's fine, used. So that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's still a lot of money. I'm not saying that it's not a lot of money. It is a lot of money. What I'm saying is that it's a lot less than some of the other cameras that you would spend the money on. So now I'm looking at maybe upping my game a little bit and adding a second camera angle. I do some Patreon videos, and they're in between. They're behind the scenes of my standard video. So while I'm recording my regular video, I will flip on the camera. I have to take the whole thing down, take all the wires out, take the assembly down, unhook it from the monitor and the power and all that, put it up on something else, and then do a little, oh, hey, I'm in the middle of recording this, whatever. Sometimes I use my phone. I hate the colors on my phone. My phone is racist. It's not good. It makes me look orange. It's only for people who have a spray tan. It is not for the regular public. So we're not going to look at that. I have the Pixel Pro 6, what is it? Pixel 6 Pro. I'm always a few generations behind because I get the stuff when it's cheaper. That's just how it is. I'm sure there's people that can relate to that in the audience. That's not an issue. So I don't want to keep... My phone is terrible. It runs in a different... I always record my regular videos in 24 frames per second. The phone runs in 30 frames per second. You can't put them both on the same timeline. You'll start to lose steps. It just doesn't work right. So I always have to, like, I couldn't mix them, in other words. So I could shoot in 30 frames per second on my camera, but I choose not to because it is a slightly different look that you get. And I like the look that I have now, and you're supposed to use a little bit less frames, especially if you're speeding up content. It just doesn't, it's not the same. Anyway, I want something else, just another secondary camera thing, but I'm not going to sell this camera. So I have a couple options. I can always go back to Nikon. They have a Z30. It's under $1,000 or around $1,000, and it would give me the two lenses that I would need, one for a talking head, one for a top down, depending on where I want to put it. The thing that I don't want to do with the top down for it is, well, here are the two things that I don't. I love the Nikon look. I think it looks great. The color science behind it is a nice camera. And the exposure is perfect all the time. I don't have to worry about weird crap happening. Sometimes I have to lock the exposure on this thing when I'm inside because sometimes it'll change a little bit. If I lean into the camera a little bit, it'll think that the colors like spreading, the darker shirt or something is spreading. It changes the light. I don't like that. So I lock exposure on the Sony. But it's fine. It works fine after I do that. The thing is with the Nikon, it would be perfect all the time. It always seems to catch the right look, the right exposure, the right light balance for it. That's wonderful. But if I do the top down, if I put it as the top down camera, it only records for like 2 hours and then shuts off, and sometimes less. And that's one of the things I hated with all my other cameras, is that they had record limits on it, except for the OM1. That one didn't have a record limit either. And the Sony doesn't either. But the two before, the Nikon and the Panasonic, they would have like half-hour recording limits or whatever. Sometimes I'm recording a video and I'm doing the art part of the video, and I'm going for like 3 hours. I don't want it to cut off. I forget to pay attention because I've been going for 2 hours. I'm in a zone. I don't realize the thing kicks off, and now I lose all the footage. That happened to me a lot with those first two cameras. A lot. I used to scrap videos all the time because I just didn't record them all the way. But it's a nice, and then the talking head thing, sometimes it loses focus, and that drove me through all. I love that Panasonic camera. I wanted to throw it through the window because it used to do that. The OM1, that was a great camera. Yes, but it lost focus. It did everything else but lost focus. I wanted to throw that thing out the window. So I'm probably not going to get the Nikon. That may be like a later way down the line, like a third camera or something. Then I was looking at, okay, well, they have this new Fuji coming out. Now, Fuji is a magical look on a camera. It looks very filmic. So it would definitely not be for the top down because there's two options here. There's the XS20, which is more money. I might as well get another Sony, which is perfect for me. But on the other side, they have this new XM5 that's coming out now, and it's like $800, $900 with a single lens. But it would only be a lens for doing talking head, not for top down. It doesn't reach as far. So it would be a nice, and supposedly the autofocus is pretty good, and the look of it, and that's what it is with Fuji, is the look. They have these like filmic looks that you can flip through, these different things, and those are fun. And so I wanted to get that. Then I was thinking, wait a minute, I'd have to buy all new accessories. I'd have to get another charger. I'd have to hook it up to get one of those dummy batteries so I could just record without worrying about the battery, because the battery's not very good in that thing. It'll die on you quick. And so there's a lot of other issues. There's a lot of things that I need to buy then if I get that one. So then I was looking at and there's another Sony, the ZVE-10 II. The one was fine. There's nothing wrong with it, but the battery life was terrible. You definitely need like 10 batteries if you go somewhere. It's not good. The ZVE-10 II uses the same battery that I have now, uses the same lenses that I have now, so I wouldn't have to worry about that. Wherever I put it, I can put it as the main top down and just leave it up there all the time, and it would give me the same exact look. There's the same picture profiles in it. There's the same creative look profiles in it, when the creative look is kind of like the Fuji simulations. it does different things. Like it'll give you like a sepia or like a grainy look, like a filmic look, or like a little bit blue or a little bit green or a little bit red, or all those kinds of things to make things look movie centric, you know, that kind of stuff. And that's not what I do as a top down, but I could do that if I was doing a talking head, or if I go outside and do something, then you can give it that kind of look. It's wonderful. The thing is, if I'm going to spend, that's like $1,000. If I'm going to spend $1,000, 1,300 isn't that far, or 1,250 isn't that far away. Another 250 to get a duplicate A6700. I have no idea where I'm going with this. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do, but I would like your opinion. If you were in my situation and you were basically a broke person, and this is something that I'm going to have to save up for a long time for. This is not something I'm going to be able to get right away, because this is I'm not selling the camera that I have, so I won't have that starting money, and I don't really have much else to sell in my music equipment that otherwise I wouldn't be able to play music at all, and I don't want to do that. So I would have to I have maybe one or two little things that I can sell, and then I have to just come up with the rest of that money. And I'm not going into debt. I'm not going to put this on a credit card or anything like that and go into debt to get a second camera. It's just as nonsense. It's not something I need. It's something I want to do to elevate the channel. That's all. But this is going to be, I'm going to save for months and months. I've got to put these little disbursements that I get away for a while before I can get something like this. But I just want to know the direction I'm going, because once I start thinking about something, I grab a hold of it, and I will not let it go. It's something that will burn in my brain until I figure out exactly what I'm doing. And months and months and months is a long time to be held captive by that thought. So I want to try and figure out what I'm doing now. What would you do in my situation? Would you go for something that was completely different, that you'd have to buy a couple of accessories for, but you think might be a little fun? Or would you get something that was more practical, that shared all of the other things, and I could get the exact same look and the exact same settings, and I wouldn't have to change much? Would you do that? Would you do something completely out of the ordinary and get something completely different? Don't mention Canon to me. I hate Canon cameras. I just don't like the fact that the files themselves are extremely hard to edit. That whatever codec they use I don't have the ability to do that. And I don't even care if anything is 4K, because I don't record in 4K. I record in 1080, and then I up-res it in DaVinci Resolve to 4K, which no one ever sees. I don't know anybody who has a 4K display that they're looking at this, unless you're watching it on your television that's a 4K television, which some of you have told me that you do. So in that case, you're taking advantage of the 4K footage that it's being up-res to in DaVinci. But again, because you're up-resing it, it's like line skipped, and you don't see it, but most people don't see it. That's what I should say. People who understand what that means and they're looking for that kind of artifact, then they may notice it, but most people would never see the difference between the 4K footage and real 4K footage. The 4K footage that I put out is not the same as real 4K footage. Anyway, doesn't matter. Like I said, most people are watching this on like their phone or their tablet, and they're looking at like, they're less than, it's like 240 dots or 720 dots or whatever. You're not going to the 3800, 40, whatever, 100. You're not doing that, most of us. So I'm not really concerned. I don't need to. My machine could not handle editing the 4K files anyway. I couldn't do it. My machine would just look at me and just laugh. It would say, "Are you kidding me? This is what you want me to do? I can't do this. You know I can't do this, right?" It's what it would do. So I can't edit 4K footage anyway on my computer. So it doesn't matter. I do the 1080, it edits it just fine, and then I up-res it later in the program. It's not a big deal. And for those of you who are trying to follow this and have any kind of idea of what I'm talking about, because a lot of people, this is not art related. I'll talk about this stuff and they have no idea what I'm talking about, not even a little bit. But I will tell you this. You are a part of this channel, and so you get to help decide, make some decisions here. So your input it doesn't matter if you have no idea what I'm talking about. Your input is just as valuable to me as someone who knows everything about all this stuff. And so that's why I'm asking. But you know, if you know anything about these cameras, you know that they each have their own look. They each have their own magic to them. The things that they add and things that they don't add. And it's just a nice... So what would you do, even if you have no idea what I'm saying? What would you do based on just the information I've given you? I would like to hear from you because I've got to figure this out. I've got to plan it up and see what's going on. But in the meantime, just in case someone gets the itch, I will be putting up some new artwork soon. I'll be doing some videos and take some of that artwork that I'm doing here and putting them up on the website for sale. Just in case by chance you decided you wanted a piece of my art on your wall. And for those of you that do buy my art, thank you so much. There's one collector out there that has bought a lot of my art, and I thank you so much. You're the #1 collector of everything that I do. So thank you, and if any of you want to try and compete, I would challenge you to try it. It's fun. You should try it. Now for the actual purpose of this video, we are going to pick the winners to the giveaway of these Woomer colored pencils here in just a second. I did want to just say with this exact picture here, I had a lot of fun creating it. I don't know why I put the red in. It was like a dark purpley red almost, like a dark red inside of the green. I don't know why I did that in the center of the page, but I did, and that's just how it came out. So I don't know if that was a smart thing or not. And then I went over some of it with a gray. There's a little bit of a gray because I wanted to kind of blend it into that background a little bit, and it did not work very well at all. I made a lot of it. This is just a series of unfortunate events here. This is just... Did I say advents? I said that in the Patreon video too. It's not advents, it's events. I'm just getting tongue twisted. That's okay, don't worry about that. So hopefully one of you who are watching now will win this set. And so let's get right into that. So now that you have sat through all of my nonsense, it is time to get straight to picking the winner for the set. But before we do that, I'm not going to get straight to it because I don't know what happened. Everybody loved this video. There were a ton of people that put their name in for these colored pencils. I had no idea so many people loved colored pencils. How come every time I put up a colored pencil video, no one watches the damn thing? Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm going to make you sit through one more thing, and that is a great suggestion by Karen Ken. Karen Ken 94 said, if you run out of a color in this set, this Woomer set, you get it, you love them, you just run out of a single color. Don't worry about it. Go find another brand that's comparable, something that you would use for any of the earth tones. I would suggest the Derwent drawing pencils. They would fit right in. They're just as smooth and waxy. They're very similar anyway. So you get something like that, or you can take the Faber-Castell and just get a 1 or 2. You just move those in. You just get those instead. Pick up one of those open stock and put it in your set and continue using the rest of your Woomer pencils. Now, if you're going to spend $30 on open stock or even $25 on open stock, just go get another set of the Woomer pencils. If you're going to buy, oh, I need to replace like 2 dozen, just get another set. That's easy. But that was a great thing. That was a great suggestion. I appreciate you, Karen. Thank you so much for that. Okay, I have the names in here. A lot of names. Everybody said, oh yeah, I want the pencils. I had no idea you all love the pencils that much, but I love the pencils. I'm going to continue using them frequently because I like how easy it is to make a very smooth gradient of color instead of that. You know when it looks like you use a crayon when you use colored pencils sometimes? I hate that. This you can get some smooth color out of, so I absolutely love them. They burnish very easily. So here's the names I am not picking. Here's the hat here. I'm not looking. I'm just going to pull one, and this person here has just won the set. I will let them know. So this is the person here. Who is this person here? Who is? Can you see that? Is that a person there? Is it supposed to be this way? Do I always put it upside down first? Okay, who's that? That's whoever you are. Oh, no, I did put it up that time. Krasnia. At Krasnia. You just won the set, so I don't know where you are, But here's what I want you to do. You're going to go down below. You'll see my email. You're going to send me an email and say, hey, that's me. I'm that person. So, and then I'll let them know. I'm going to ask you to do something, and then I'm going to send them your information, and they're going to send you the set. So congratulations at Krasnia. You won the set. And a lot of you loved that set. So I may have to I'll work something out. We'll do another giveaway of them eventually somewhere along the line. I hope they come out with more products. They were amazing. It was great. And I know I keep saying this, and it's not because they sent it to me. It's not because they're sending one to you, which is admirable in and of itself. But I just absolutely loved how wonderful they were for the cost. And not just that they were that wonderful for the cost. They're that wonderful even if they cost more. They were a great pencil. I absolutely loved them. So that's about it. I will get this information. You send me your information. I'll get this information over to them, and we'll all have a good time. You know who else has a good time? These people popping up on the screen here. We have a wonderful time over there over on Patreon. I post videos before I post these videos, and they get to see them. So it's just me doing these videos. That's all it is. It's me behind the scenes while I'm doing a video. They see. I think I talked about it earlier. I don't even know anymore what I said in this video. So, and I never got my hair cut. That's a shame. All right. So thumb up the video if you are going to try to incorporate colored pencils into your work. I think I said that on the last one too, but it's okay. You could thumb it up twice for the same reason. It's worth it. I like it too. So that's what I'm going to do. Alright, if you would like to join our community, go to illustrationsbypete.com. You can come in, you can put your own artwork on the site and promote it. You can find some inspiration in the free reference photos. You can just use them however you want in your artwork. You do not need to credit me. Or you can come into the forums and talk to some people and maybe give some advice and maybe find a little bit of information that helps you. So come check us out. Alright, that's about it for me. I'm going to go. I'll see you in the next one.